My deputy leader here believes he believes that what can cure all this thing about tribalism is if we went pure parliamentary. I disagree with him, but that's how democratic Wiper is. And whenever I give him opportunity, he says it. That if you are pure parliamentary, we probably will end up that way. You never know. I don't think we are writing everything here in stone. We, like Constitution 2010, yeah, which, you know, was done in such a hurry because we wanted to give a country new hope. And then everybody's 20% not so good and blah, blah, blah. Now we are dealing with a 20% plus. Because I agree that Nairobi itself, this is another capital. And this one, those Kenyans who have worked very hard from time of the late Dr. Njoroge Mungai and all of us and some of us bringing Kofi Annan here to make Nairobi a United Nations office. We are very proud of it. And I think on that we are almost at par with Addis Ababa, because Addis Ababa is seen to be the diplomatic capital of Africa. But Nairobi is a UN headquarters, the only UN headquarters in the third world. So we do not want to confuse that, the presence which brings a lot of money to this country by hosting a tremendous diplomatic presence, right? Then we confuse it with our own local politics. I think a separation needs to be done. You have not thought through that quite clearly, what you want to do with the representative. Because the people in Nairobi also must elect their members of parliament. Yeah, they must do that. But when it comes to governance, the level of the governor, what are you actually saying? Very good thought, good food for thought about Nairobi. And so there's a lot that we say. I like the fact that we don't want to look like Americans. Because you see, whatever happened in Limuru, I don't know whether my senior friend, Musyoka, was in Naivasha when we were negotiating this Constitution 2010, because something drastically wrong seems to have happened, as a result of which the wage bill in this country is not sustainable. I mean, every MCA ni mheshimiwa. And there are over nearly 2,000 of them. They go for benchmarking trips to Singapore. And then everything, honestly unsustainable. Because we adopted, it was like the choice, take a pure American system, which is what we have today, including the titles. Secretary of State. In fact, we could even have important Pompeo here. So let's revert to what is easy within the African region. I don't know of any other country that refers to their ministers as CSs. So thank you for saying go back to ministers and cabinet ministers. And I like the title for, instead of having assistant minister, you call them, yeah, ministers of state. That is okay. Ministers, that's very honorable. But of course also give them responsibility. So this is a very rich document, and I think I still want to urge the Kenyans read through, but please remember what I've told you from the beginning, take charge. If you allow me to, along with my political colleagues, to hijack the whole thing and bring your results, it could create unnecessary friction. We will of course continue. I personally see nothing wrong with it, because people are again preparing themselves for the next electoral contest under guise of BBI. So how are you going to handle that one? I know you're strict in discipline, but if you find us out of discipline, we will. We can always stand guided. So there will be those conversations. I think myself that you have to look at the next financial cycle, and those matters, the matters that need to be dealt with through a referendum. I want to suggest that everything be done so that we dispense with the referendum question. If you can be ready with a referendum question before the end of June, all right, because you may want to get the Minister of Finance to do some allocations, then we can have this referendum, maybe latest by September, because you also want to get it back out of, because if you take it to 2021, then you better so declare that the work of the BBI steering committee will form part of the electoral campaign in 2022. I'm sure that is not the intention, and I'm quite sure that was not the intention of the appointing authority. So, have I left out? Yeah, Junior can add something. He declared himself my Attorney General, and it's very good. Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the report that you have prepared. On the chapter on divisive elections, I have two issues to raise. One, I disagree with the term divisive. The term is manipulated elections. And Senator Orengo and I and others traveled to Brazil, Chair, where Brazil has 103 million registered voters on biometric registration. You know how big Brazil is. It has islands, it has forests, it has all sorts of people. And the presidential election is declared within 2 hours using one small gadget. So the law that we did in Windsor of an integrated system, in fact, I have seen the machine. It's one machine. No ballot boxes, no shenanigans, no games. In 2 hours, Chair, we can have a president. Not 10 days, 2 hours. And it's possible. And that is the way to heal this country. Competitive presidential elections since 1997 has caused rifts. And that is how I think we can build a proper bridge. The second point is, I was thinking out aloud, Chair, under Article 7, is it possible that we find a way of making sure that this document called the Katiba, I have a Katiba that my father left in his office, which I keep in Kiswahili. If you ask how many people in this room who have that Katiba in Kiswahili, you'll be shocked they don't have. So I think that is one of the ways of building a true nation, by making sure that language that we talk so much is translated in some of the documents. On the Senate, I don't know why, when we have two eminent persons sitting in front of us, you just afforded the Senate of this Republic one line in your report. Maybe it was an omission. You have suggested that for purposes of the counties, you should increase the allocation between 30 and 50. I still don't know what the magic of the 30 and 50, but I think there should be a definite figure. But Chair and Senator Wako, how do we make sure that the 30 and 50 is actually 30 or 50? How do you ring fences? You know the problems you have had. I'll just read the articles that need amendment of the Constitution. Article 114 on money bills has been misinterpreted. Article 218 of the Constitution on division of revenue vis-a-vis Article 218 of the Constitution and 221. It is a contradiction, Chair, for the appropriation law to be signed before division. If it continues, there's no point of giving counties more money. There's no reason whatsoever to give counties more money. And the only way you can strengthen the Senate is not calling it upper house, is giving it jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means that one, some of the people who are constitutional office holders, you just create a way where they can be vetted by the Senate. It's not by coincidence that the chair of the eminent persons is from the Senate, is flanked by the emeritus, AG. It's not by coincidence that when the country needed laws, they picked Kiraitu and Orengo. It's not by coincidence that the Senate of this Republic has 3 senior councils. It's not a coincidence. I was thinking out aloud, and Chair, allow me to continue thinking aloud. Is there a place you can find council of presidents, of retired presidents in Kenya, where we can operate as wise men and can sit, like in the case of Germany, they sit.
It's in the BBI report.
Oh, it's in the BBI report. I'm just saying, just. Yes, yes.
And they are not even paid anything.
Yes. But because they already have some perks under retirement benefits. But in the case of the German Senate, they find a place where they can sit as Council of Elders. And that's why I agree with the party leader, my party leader, that if you want to make it truly a house of elders, make it truly a House of Elders. And the leader of opposition, I'm not sure what your recommendations are in terms of where they will sit, but all the constitutional 15 Article 15 commissions and PAC and PIC should be under the leader of opposition. That's what I think the party leader wanted to say, but we had not mentioned it.
Thank you. Well done. I will ask Farah to talk about security, safety, because I noticed that you require whoever is a president within 3 months to give a statement, an account of how safe the country is.